come back and say when it's
okay.
We are streaming. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon. I think afternoon now. I'm Vice Chair Greg Duff. I want to welcome you to the May 4th meeting of the Convention Civic Center Commission. Corey has had a death in the family and had to go out of town, or preparing to go out of town. So I'm stepping in today to take over the meeting. First of all, I want to make sure everybody received the agenda. Matthew sent it out through the CCC one sheet. Also, I believe and he's also sent out minutes from last meeting, which is first item on the agenda after introduction. So I believe the standard, and Chris, please interrupt if I'm doing this wrong, is to just do a roll call. And we'll go through it since this is now a virtual meeting instead of in person. And I can't see everyone. So if you would just, at the time I call your name, unmute your microphone and just say here. That way I can hear it as well as Matthew, who's actually recording the minutes. So Councilperson Mosley.
Hi, good afternoon.
Corey's gone. I'm Greg Duff. I'm here. Bill Jones. I saw Bill. We'll come back to him. John Ellis.
Present.
We know Mukunda cannot be here. Nicole Lee. Krissa.
I'm here.
Jay.
My apologies. Nicole Lee here.
I'm here.
Okay, both of those. Donna Bailey. Oh, Donna.
Yeah.
Okay. Sally Keeney from Civic Center. I'm sorry, from the Symphony.
I'm here.
Okay. Marshall Hilliard from Explore Asheville.
Here.
Dem Bradford from the Sports Commission.
He is upstairs in the banquet hall right now trying to get on to the Wi-Fi. So he'll be late in a second.
Okay. Chris is here. Matthew's here. Janice Ashley. No Janice. Sarah Gross. And Marcia Hart. All right. Hopefully you've all had the opportunity to review the minutes from April. Again, we have to vote on this, and because I cannot see a show of hands, I'm going to go through the commissioners, the voting members, to get either an A or an I to approve the minutes. Do we have any corrections before we do that? Do we have a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, that was Shay. Is there a second?
Second, Ellis.
Okay, great. So I'll just run through here quick, get a quick aye or nay. I'm an aye. Bill Jones? Bill had to leave. John Ellis?
Aye. And Bill is trying to get, he gave a thumbs up.
Okay. I didn't see. Nicole?
Aye.
Krissa?
Aye.
Shay?
Aye.
And Donna's not with us. Okay. Minutes are approved. Do we have any guests from the general public with us today?
We do not.
Okay, so we will skip over that. Councilperson Mosley, do you have a report from City Council? And specifically, we're kind of interested in where the budget process is right now.
So just a very, very brief recap, and thank you for that. We, as you mentioned, are still in the budget work session process. We have another work session scheduled for this coming Tuesday, but of note to this commission in particular is the update we received at our last work session. Tony McDowell presented to us each department's the fiscal impact on each department as a result of COVID. And at the top of the list was Harrah's. While I can't determine an amount now, it appears as if the staff's recommendation for Harrah's will be at the top of the list. And we're definitely on the radar. In addition, I had the opportunity to speak to other council members regarding the other grant monies that, while on one hand it appeared that Harrah's would be towards the top of the list, I want to say it was the SBA, but correct me if I'm mistaken about that. And now that it looks like Harrah's has now gone to a third tier, council is aware of that, and we will have that in mind when it comes time to actually allocate. That's all I can say thus far.
Well, that's encouraging. And thank you for your report. Is Deb on yet?
I don't see him yet. No.
If he comes back, we'll skip over it for now and come back to him later when he can get on. And I noticed that Donna Bailey has arrived on. Is that correct, Donna? And Bill, are you back with us? Yeah, I love technology.
Yeah, so do I. This is my first time actually doing it in a car, because so I'm trying to figure all the buttons. But
You got it. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We have a new guest or a new member. Marshall Hilliard has taken Diana's place at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So Marshall, welcome. Would you mind just quick introduction and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Not at all. Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to attend. It's week 2, so I don't have a tremendous amount to report just yet, but looking forward to interacting with this group moving forward. I am a native Ashevillean. Matter of fact, my first concert I ever attended as a teenager was at your venue, so it's a special place to me for that reason. And went to Appalachian State University and wound up traveling up and down the East Coast for many years in the hotel business, and got the opportunity to join this great organization just last week. So that's a little bit about me, and I look forward to working with you all.
Thank you. After 2 weeks, it's hard to get your foot quite on the ground yet, so we'll look forward to hearing back from you next time.
Thank you.
Sally Keeney from the Symphony.
I'll be doing the Symphony report.
Okay.
Sally just had a moment of relief when I said that. The Symphony's just finished up last week over at the Wortham Center for the Performing Arts, 4 days of rehearsals and performing. But the consensus among all the musicians is they can hardly wait for a full orchestra to be back together again and performing. Work on the new season is beginning. The big news is announced last week. The Symphony has announced their new executive director. Name is Daniel Krupe, coming to us from currently in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he's the executive director of the Symphony there. He will not be starting until July because he has a project to finish up out in Santa Fe. He's working on a film project with Robert Redford, and he just kind of figured he'd like to get that done before he came here. I don't know why, but that's the big news. So typically we would have a season and everything. Now we've got our the dates obviously at Thomas Wolfe, but exact programming will be continuing with Daniel and Darko, and that's our report.
Thank you. I noticed that some phone numbers flashing. So is Demp on the line? Okay, still no Demp. Bill, are you back? I think John is the intermediary on this one. And I noticed Yvonne has come in as a guest. Yvonne, are you there?
Hey, Greg, this is Dem.
With Premier Sotheby's Realty here in Asheville. And I've been living here since 2003 and love being involved, love helping. And Civic Center is a hub for our community and love doing what I can to help in any way. So.
Thank you, Makunda. Mr. Ellis.
Thanks. My name is John Ellis. I'm the retired managing director.
All right, so that was weird. I'm pretty sure Yvonne logged in and was watching last month's meeting. People intro themselves, so I just muted her. So
Okay, that was a little strange.
Go ahead.
So, Demp, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, would you please do your report for us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We continue to look forward to getting things back to some sense of normalcy. We are continuing to have ongoing discussions with the Southern Conference. Feel pretty good about as we move forward for an extension. Our wrestling tournament looks like the grapple in December. Looks like we're going to have another record year in terms of participants. Trying to look at what the youth focus might also look like. We continue to have ongoing discussions with multiple groups to hopefully be able to announce some other exciting things in conjunction with the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville. So I don't have anything to announce today, but hopefully pretty soon we'll be making some different announcements that'll be good. Also, Gala Gymnastics is scheduled back in January, which is an incredible event for us. I think this will be their 9th year in Asheville, and so we're working on getting that, and just seeing what other things that might pop into the. We also we're talking of relocation events or new events. We will be having the American Cornhole League Pro Series, so it's only the professionals. And that'll be the weekend of June 11th through the 13th here. It will be Saturday night, 11th and 12th, actually, not Sunday, 11th and 12th. Saturday night, 6 to 8. The championships will be televised either on CBS Sports Network or CBS Sports, CBS. CBS has the right to pick it up for the main network if they want to. This is part of a new series. Asheville is a growing cornhole area. We actually have a couple of pros who live here. So actually there'll be a press release going out either later today or tomorrow announcing that, but it is already on the American Cornhole schedule. So pretty excited about that because we think that it's going to lead to a lot of other events with the Cornhole League. So we feel like that's a good future sport for us. The event will be free and open to the public. So we're also excited about that. When we did the bid, we did have restrictions. So we're trying to figure out what it looks like without restrictions. So it's basically my report. And again, thank you to everyone for all that you do.
Demp, where's the cornhole tournament going to take place?
On the floor of the main arena.
Okay. And what, for the extension of the SOCON contract, how long would that extension be for?
Traditionally, we've been anywhere from 3 to 5. In the previous contracts, I think the original contract may have been 5. Then we had a 3 and a 2. Our objective would be to go ahead and nail down 5 and kind of be able to get a couple of years under our belt before we start negotiating again.
And when do you anticipate that being official or some sort of announcement coming out about that?
Hopefully by their league meetings in May, hopefully.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that. General Manager's report, Chris.
I'm going to punt initially to Matthew for the marketing report, and I'll come back to you.
Yep, 1 second. Let me get this. Okay. Obviously, one of the biggest highlights we've had. We were initially doing this report every 2 months, but given the fact that things have kind of slowed down, it'll move to every 3 to 4 months for that. So this is kind of a snapshot of the overview. Just a quick show off of one of our newest attractions that got installed over the past summer was our brand new video boards, which made their public debut with the March's Southern Conference event. So that's a snapshot of the end wall displays, which are on both, which are also able to show live video and replays of those events coming up for that all. Just a quick content index. Some more of the highlights that we had from SoCon and other pictures, as well as like repostings and comments from AVL Today postings, and a very old Asheville Civic Center throwback photo there from 2002, which got some good likes recently. Some of our media spotlights focusing on the departure of our fearless friend and leader, Sam Powers, for retirement, the return to the Asheville Tattoo Convention, as well as the numerous different community-focused events we've been able to host over the past months and years, including the blood drives, as well as working with the city of Asheville for the employees proclamation and recognition of frontline employees for that. As well as different COVID coverage, as well as SoCon coverage from local media outlets, announcing just the fact that the governor's recent announcements, leading to us being able to actually have people in, and how many people on there is something we're obviously closely following, and we'll evaluate as each of those announcements come to the board with that. Another one, most recently we held the city council retreat on the arena floor, which we also were able to show off our brand new video screen, which looked really good, even though it's not pictured in that one, as well as some national coverage from the recent SoCon event. Shifting over into social media, kind of some overview statistics, if you will. Audience was up, published posts were up. Obviously, we're going to see rises in all those metrics as we start getting back into events. As Chris mentioned earlier, we basically announced 3 shows this week. I actually just announced a show 17 minutes ago for Glass Animals. We'll have some more shows coming up here in the next week and month and coming weeks as well for that. So with that coming back, we'll see rises in the number of posts that we're going, the number of impressions, engagements that we're going with our fans, as well as a continuing rise in audience as these tours and announcements will bring national coverage for it all. One of the mentions that we just mentioned, we announced on Monday, was Midland, who had a nice feature in Rolling Stone where they're talking about the national coverage for their tour coming up. Across the next couple of pages, cross network audience growth, a couple of big spikes right there in the middle, which we would associate with the Ava Brothers announcement, as well as SoCon and the general interactions that we're having for fans coming in the doors and interacting with our announcements and coverage for that. Cross network volume, again, as we said, the number of total messages we've sent is up by almost 16%. And those numbers will continue to escalate higher. All these numbers are compared to the previous time period beforehand. And I think you'll see where the annual report comes out with the return to shows and announcements, I think we'll be so far ahead and probably back to, if not exceeding, our 2019 numbers for metrics as well. Impressions, trending upward, especially on Twitter and Instagram, where we have the highest amount of impressions and interactivity for it all. Although Facebook has the biggest audience, it does have a generally lower impression component to it all. But with the return of events, we'll see those numbers continue to grow as well. Same thing, kind of following the engagement. They generally follow announcements, live events that are happening, whether it's people posting about the shows that they're attending or the fact that we just announced their favorite band. All those metrics will continue to grow as well. These are our top 10 posts of the past 4 months. Obviously, some of those coincide with the Ava Brothers championship photos from SoCon, an Instagram post about Silk Sonic from the Grammy performance, a throwback to the Maui Invitational teams and SoCon teams, teams that basically participated with us recently, and that we were able to highlight them during their March Madness runs and their respective tournaments for that. To get those up, sorry about that. As well as SoCon coverage, throwback photo, and then just some more throwback photos for that. Going into the website, we'll see these numbers again kicking up for that all. We've already seen over the past 4 months, we've already seen almost 26% rise in users, new users, sessions, and number of sessions across page users, as well as page views. Those numbers, again, everything's going to start trending upward and rising incrementally the more shows that we can, get out there and spread the word about and get people in the venue to kind of show off the video boards and other new features and have them interacting with our brand as a whole. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'll take that as a no, and I'll put it back to the group.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew. One thing I would note to the group, the one throwback post that Matthew didn't bring up was the ticket post of the Joe Biden event when Joe Biden came to do a speaker series event here back in, I can't even remember what year, but that was right after the inauguration, and it was great to be able to showcase that he had stopped by at one point. All right, so Shuttered Venue Operators Grant update. Like Councilmember Mosley said, we went from a tier 1 venue, which meant we were down 90% or more, and were almost guaranteed money the way that the legislation read. And then the day before they opened the apps, a new FAQ came out and dropped us down to 3rd tier, which I think I emailed out to this group. We did ultimately apply, and so the total grant application that we put in was for about $1.6 million. Overall, we're down about $3.5 million. We're able to apply for 45% of the amount that we are down of earned revenue per year, not gross revenue. So that application is in, and now we are in the wait mode, and we'll see what happens. There's a roughly $16 billion pot, for venues, promoters, agents, etc., to apply to. Being in 3rd tier, I'm honestly not super confident that we're going to receive any money, but it is certainly possible. At the last update I got from the SVO, I think there was only 7,000 apps that had been submitted, but that was probably pushing a week ago at this point. So I'm sure they're up to 15,000 apps or more. And if ours is 1.6, I'm sure there's a lot more out there that are over 1 million. And so when you have 16 billion, that comes out to 16,000 $1 million apps. So we'll play the waiting game there and see what comes of that. Any questions about the SEO grants? Nope. All right. So I'll go into the easy ones, upcoming events. In the immediate future for us, we have one more dance recital here coming in May, Center Stage Dance. First weekend in June, we're going to host 3 of the local high schools for graduation on June 4th for an in-person graduation. Right now, we're looking at a capacity of roughly 1,200 people per graduation. However, we're anticipating, based on the governor's announcement, that on June 1st, we may be able to go full scale. So we're planning and assuming that we're 100% capacity, but we have the backup plan of 1,200 persons for graduation. Not counting the students on top of that. Then the next weekend is that cornhole event that Demp brought up that'll be on CBS Sports. And then we get into the fall concert series, really. So we have announced Primus that's already on sale in August. This week, Midland, Gojira, and Glass Animals were announced. We've got 4 concerts between 2 bands that we'll be announcing next week, 3 of which are in the arena. And we've got another arena show that we'll probably be announcing the week following that. So we're kind of getting into that announced season. I anticipate between May and June, we'll be announcing a lot of shows. We have 2 more shows confirmed in the theater for October and February that Matthew's working on marketing plans for right now that I believe we'll be announcing in June. So then we're coming back to normal as far as getting that flow of shows being announced, going on sale, getting tickets sold, and starting the process. Any questions about upcoming events?
Yeah, Chris, this is John. Just curious, we don't know what the governor's announcement's going to be, but how are you adjusting any COVID protocols other than masking? Are you dispensing with screening, temps, et cetera?
Yeah, we've had dance events and cheerleading events the last 4 weekends, I guess it is, and we have dropped temperature screens as of mid-March. We're not really doing like a heavy screen at the front door as far as symptom screens. We've posted signage at this point that basically says, we expect you to self-screen yourself. If you are not feeling well, please report and leave. We're enforcing general pod seating because all these events are, they're like youth competitions, right? So it's like a bunch of families coming to watch their sons or daughters play. So we've been giving each dance studio, if you will, a section. And we say like, this is dance studio A's section. We expect you to police yourselves in your pods and to stay separate. And then we have some people roaming around just to keep enforcing masks. That's been the big challenge. It's just asking people to put their mask back on when they're just sitting there. Because I'm envisioning a graduation nightmare because we'll have, a family of 5 sitting in a pod and no one's near them, 6 feet more apart. And, in their living room, they would be without masks. So they keep coming down because it gets hot and it's uncomfortable. And, I get it, but inside we technically still need to keep them on at all times. So that's been the biggest challenge at the moment.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chris? All right, we'll move on to old business. There's really none listed on the agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about?
Just my ubiquitous, Chris, HVAC stuff on schedule?
Thomas Wolf HVAC stuff is on schedule. Rigging adjustments and lighting adjustments. We had companies here yesterday and tomorrow to do their site visits to hopefully put numbers together for us to green light next week, hopefully.
Thank you.
Okay, on to new business. Officer nominations. So Corey has not indicated he does not want to return as chair, and he has 1 term left. So, but we can take volunteers who want to become chair, if anyone is interested. We do need someone to step up and become vice chair because I rotate off as of June 30th. So I will be leaving the group at that point. So if anyone would like to be vice chair, I can speak honestly. You really don't have to do a lot other than talk every once in a while and do what I'm doing today to fill in for Corey as he is on his travels. But if anyone would like to, you can speak up now, or if you just let Chris know before our next meeting in June that you would like to be vice chair, and we will, I'm sure he will take care of that. They will do a vote at the June meeting for the next, for next officers. So again, if anybody wants to step up right now, I'm sure we would love to have you on board. And if you want to talk about what it's like to be vice chair, you're welcome to contact me offline and have to explain it. But again, please indicate your willingness to serve through Chris before June. And the only other thing we have is June meeting will be virtual like we are right now. July, we traditionally take off, so we don't have a meeting in July. So the question is of whether we would like to do or you would like to do, I will not be there, August as either a live in-person event or virtually. Again, that's not something we have to decide today, but it is something we have to decide in June. So if you just think about it, think about what your own personal preferences are, your scheduling and so on, and let us know in June at the June meeting. That June meeting is scheduled for June 1st, 12 o'clock noon. We always tune in a little bit early, just make sure all the connections are working right at 11:45. Unless someone has anything else to add to the conversation, I will adjourn the meeting. All right. Thanks, everyone. We appreciate your time.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.